Are you going through a divorce in Wisconsin? Even small mistakes can blow up your case, and fast. My name is Jeff Hughes. I'm the lead attorney and CEO of Sterling Lawyers. As a family law firm that serves hundreds of families every month, I've seen it all. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 biggest don'ts that can quietly wreck your divorce if you're not careful. These aren't dramatic scandals. They're little missteps that can cost you parenting time, money, or credibility with the court. And by the end, you won't just know what to avoid, you'll know how to walk through the court calm, credible, and prepared. Don't number 1. Don't do anything shady. This one is first for a reason. I have seen people absolutely torpedo their case with one quote, clever move. We're talking about moving or hiding money, sudden income changes if they own their own business, for example, draining accounts without notice properly to the other party, violating temporary court orders. These things almost always surface. And when you get to court, your currency in divorce court is your reputation, is your credibility as a party, as a litigant in the court divorce process. And there are serious consequences when you lose credibility that could look like emergency court hearings, restraining orders, legal fees, and worst of all, probably, your credibility going down the toilet with the judge or the guardian ad litem. I remember once I had a case that still sticks out to me to this day. I was a young lawyer and I had a client, and let's just call him James, and his soon-to-be ex, call her Dana. And I recall he came in to see me, and this poor gentleman was broken-hearted. They had 2 children. They're both elementary age children. He was a hard-working guy working in a factory doing piecework, and I believe she was a waitress. And so they were of limited means, hard-working, salt-of-the-earth, blue-collar people. And my client, I just instantly connected and trusted him. He just seemed so credible, and how he came across, how he described his situation, and how sad he was at what was going on. And as he began to tell me the story, I could see these little things that she was doing that I knew, if we presented our case properly, would dramatically affect her credibility and thus the outcome down the road. And one thing in particular stuck out to me. Just before she filed for divorce, that he had no knowledge was coming, by the way, just before, she went out and she bought a brand new, decked out, like state-of-the-art minivan. And minivans at that level are super expensive. And this was so out of character and out of keeping with how they had managed their money throughout their whole entire marriage. Now remember, they didn't have a lot. So these folks were not going to go out typically and just blow a bunch of money on a fully decked out, loaded up minivan. It just wasn't in the cards for them. But she wanted this nice minivan. And in her way of thinking, she was going to use marital funds, buy the minivan, take the depreciation that always happens when you buy a brand new car, and that she was going to get the reduced value at the time of settlement. So we go through the court process, and we're like almost a year into it because it was a really contentious type case. And we made the argument to the court that she knew what she was doing, and this may seem small, but it's indicative of someone that can't be trusted, that she was going to do this underhanded, shady thing of buying this minivan just before filing. Now, was it illegal for her to do that? No. But was it shady? Absolutely yes. And you know what? The judge saw that, and he gave my client credit when it came time to divide up the assets for the depreciation that that brand new minivan took when she drove it off the lot that day. So when I say don't do something shady, that's not just to the illegal things. That's the obvious stuff. It's the shady things that impact your credibility in a negative way. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Credibility is the main persuasive tool that you have when you're in court. And remember this, courts hate secrets. And you know what? They hate surprises even more. So judges don't reward cleverness when it's covered in something that's shady. They reward consistent and clean. Don't number 2. Do not believe everything your ex-spouse tells you. Now, as divorce lawyers, we confront this on a daily basis. Clients are distraught. They call us saying, my ex told me such and such. And it seems like on a daily basis, we have to help that client see through the garbage that their ex is telling them just to hurt them. So as you're moving through your case, don't believe everything your ex tells you, because they know what buttons to push and how to hurt you. And they'll say things that, you know what, just aren't true. And I've seen clients get absolutely paralyzed by threats and by lies and by accusations such as, you will never get custody of the children. You won't see them again. I'm not going to pay you a dime. The house will be mine. You won't get the house because the children will be with me the majority of the time. That is all, by and large, baloney. Don't believe that stuff. And here's the truth. Your ex is not the judge. Wisconsin law sets out very clear and distinct rules for custody, placement, property division, and support. And as you're going through your case, and as your ex-spouse is barraging you with lies, and that makes you fearful and afraid, that is the worst time to make decisions. Making them based on fear rather than based on truth hurts people over and over again going through a divorce action. Let me tell you this, flip it. If they threaten you, document it. Bring it to your lawyer. Stick with the facts, not with the fear. Don't number 3. Do not stay in the dark about your own life. So many people, especially in longer marriage, come in to see us for consults and they don't have a clear picture on their assets, on their case. They've been so focused on like a narrow aspect of the relationship that they haven't seen the entire big picture. They don't know what they owe. They don't know what they're spending on a monthly basis. Please don't let that be you. That's a dangerous place to be. If divorce is even on your radar, start learning today. Pull your credit report. Look at all of your known accounts. Gather your retirement, your debt, your insurance. Track your monthly expenses. Look and see what you and your spouse are spending on a monthly basis. So often, many clients come to see us and they really don't know what their lifestyle costs. That is a problem. We've had clients discover property and real estate that they didn't know they owned, secret subscriptions, hidden bank accounts. I remember once I had a client who discovered that her ex had a safety deposit box that she had no idea about. And she found records of payments into the safety deposit box going back many years. And we didn't want to tell the opposing party that we knew about this because we didn't want them to clear it out. Okay. So I remember sitting in court and it was a surprise request. Judge, can we go today? Can we have an order from the court ordering both parties to present themselves at the bank today at such and such a time? This was like right after we're out of court because I didn't want to leave a lot of time between court and the time of the order. Can the judge order all of us to go directly to the bank, present ourselves, and look into the safety deposit box? And that's exactly what we did. And it was like one of the most thrilling moments of my career to see what was in this particular box. And it was just like this grand moment, kind of like opening Al Capone's vaults or something like that. Frankly, there wasn't a lot in there and it didn't like turn the case, but it sure was exciting. And my client was just thrilled that we're able to get this order and she was able to kind of close the book, so to speak, on what was in this particular box. So back to knowing your particular situation. You cannot competently negotiate for your future if you don't have a clear-eyed view on where you are at in the present. So do that. Please know that. Now, you and your lawyer need something solid to build your case. And that starts with knowing the full scope of your financial picture and your situation. Don't number 4. Do not skip legal advice, even if, and maybe especially if, you're doing your case yourself. Now, you're saying, Jeff, I get it. You're a divorce lawyer. Of course you're going to say that. You know what? Look, I'll be honest with you. Not everyone needs a divorce lawyer. In fact, many people do not use a divorce lawyer. But I encourage people, please, for your own future, before you sign those final documents, go and spend the money to have a quality Wisconsin divorce lawyer look over all of your documents so you know exactly what you're stepping into. I remember once I had a client that came to me for just this reason. He was a very smart, capable person. They had a large estate. It was a fairly amicable case, so they felt like they didn't need lawyers. And he came in to see me and he presented everything. And I remember seeing this one thing in his document that really jumped out to me. And I asked him about it. And he's like, oh, I think I have to do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't believe you do. I think if you did this over here, you're going to save yourself a lot of money if you just make this one small change. And sure enough, he called me like a week later and he said, Jeff, that was gold. Thank you so much for doing that. And it turned out it saved him about $100,000 in future maintenance payments because of this one particular thing. Now let's recap these 4 don'ts. Don't do anything shady. Don't believe everything your ex says. Don't stay in the dark about your own finances and personal situation. And don't finalize your case without legal review. Now, if you're doing these 4 things, you are already ahead of 80% of the people in divorce court. You only get one shot at your divorce settlement, and mistakes now can follow you for years. And if you are worried about financial transparency, or you think your spouse might be hiding money, don't miss this next video where we show you how to uncover hidden assets in a Wisconsin divorce and what you can do if something doesn't add up.